welcome back to my channel, The Chinook Crafter. My name is Michelle, my pronouns are she, her, and this is my channel where I talk primarily about cross-stitch and my life, sometimes books, sometimes some other crafts, but more or less cross-stitch and cross-stitch adjacent hobbies, as you will find out in this episode 9, yeah, my 9th one. And yeah, so it's been, well, probably by the time this gets posted, 3 weeks since I was last here. And I was actually almost made it to 2 weeks. I was all ready. I was going to film, and my last week has been pretty rough. If you follow me on Instagram, which, I mean, I post a lot, so I'm totally okay if you don't, because I post a lot, you will have noticed the last week that my daughter was sick, and then I was sick. So I have not actually stitched in a week, so not so much there. I had a whole bunch of things planned to start for August that I didn't because I did not want to risk them around my toddler. It was a rough week. I won't go into the whole gross details. If you messaged me on Instagram, you got the gross details. They don't need to be immortalized here. But sufficient to say, my toddler was sick for 2 days. We had a day of recovery. Like, are we recovered? Are we not? And then I was sick for about 24 hours, worse than her, because of course that's how it goes. And her second birthday party was actually on Saturday, so we'd had planned everything else. We'd have a whole week to do this, do that, and instead it was like go, go, go. Not stressful at all, and less said about the party the better. Just man, having kids has really shown me who I can count on, who are my people, things like that, and not to get my expectations too high about other people and their lives, especially in the summer. So there's a lot going on in the summer, so it is what it is, and she had a blast, and that's all that matters. And I've also firmly decided that as soon as she has friends her age, we are not hosting parties at home. Like, I don't care that it is so much more cost efficient. No, I will pay the money to have somebody else make the food and decorate and have the entertainment, because it was a lot. Like I said, she had a blast, but I am glad it's over. And I mean, her actual birthday's next week, and we'll just do something really small, like as our little family unit. But I actually wasn't even going to have a party for her, but then people were going, oh, like, what are you doing for her birthday? When is her party? And so then I did it, and then yeah. Yeah, birthdays. You don't realize how much your parents did for you until you're then having to plan it yourself. Yeah, so we got through that. We survived, and we're going to move on to, now that it's all over, I can hopefully start stitching, because I've been chomping at the bit to start some things, and just have not had the opportunity. So I'm just going to go right into it. I actually have a new start. It's Let's Make a Statement 3 by Dee's 20 Stitches. And this is my start on it. It's actually a fairly significant start. I started it on 2 Wednesdays ago with Michelle from Bendy Stitches. She is amazing. She actually gifted me this pattern, and so it was fantastic. And I had, just working on it. She's actually finished hers. I prepared with photos, some photos this time. So this is what, oh, that might be backwards. Anyways, that's what it's supposed to look at. That might be backwards. I'm so sorry. And I'm going to show off Michelle Bendy. And then here is her finish. Stolen from Instagram. Glare. Yeah. And I'm just realizing now that these might be showing up backwards in my screen recording. It's okay. If they don't have words, then you still understand what the picture is. I think those are... No, there's another one with words. I film using a very ancient laptop. We're just basically waiting for it to die before we buy a new one, which it's fine. It just makes editing the slowest process possible, which is why I don't usually have the handy dandy pictures in, because it literally will take like what feels like 10 minutes to download the picture off the internet or open it up from the file and then insert, and then and then if you have like 4 or 5 projects, all of a sudden you're just like, I am done. I don't want to do this editing. It's too much work, because the computer is so slow and struggling, and you're just, it's like, I don't want to do it because it's so slow and it's struggling. That's my only new start. Actually, the interesting thing I learned about this, so like I said, I have a variegated thread to go up here, just like the DMC variegated one, and I had like 3 of the 6 colors that Indeed called for, and like obviously this one's a fairly flexible one, like my let's make a statement one, I switched up all the colors. And I was like, but I want to try like the variegated pink blue, I think it's called Cotton Candy from DMC, just to see how it looked. So I have that ready to go, and I'm trying the Moulin, the not the satin one, because I hated the satin one in the first one, so we're not going back to that. But I didn't have some of the colors for the rainbow, which is fine. I asked my mom and my neighbor, and so they had them. And there was one like electric blue one they didn't have. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'll just get that one from Michael's. So I just what I do when I don't have floss colors is I go onto the Michael's app and I order it, and then I send my partner to the store to pick it up. And wasn't at the 2 stores near us, so I went looking. It was nowhere in Calgary, and I was like, wow, why is this color like not existent and like no one has it? So then I googled it. I was like, I want to say it was like DMC 3890. It's an electric blue in this. And anyway, so then I got this whole thing. It's like, oh, it's discontinued, but it's not discontinued. So it turns out it's not discontinued. It's only sold in a pack of 15 with the whole from like, I think it's DMC 3880 to DMC 3895. Like that's the only way you can get those 15 shades is in the bundle. And I was like, do I want to buy a bundle? Because, Crow Brain says, yes, acquire all the colors, completionist. My practical side goes, how many people are going to use these colors? Or they're like that hard to get? Like they can't be in that many patterns. Do I not? There's alternatives. There's like other electric blues. It's like less than 100 stitches. And I haven't decided because, like I said, the Crow Brain is very strong. And, if Michael's gives me a 40% off coupon, which they do, I might do it because then it's a very good deal on a pack of like 15 colors. So haven't decided yet. I figure I have a lot of time. I'll just work upwards now instead of downwards. So that was my start. I could almost have made it a finish if I'd been feeling better, but I wasn't. I also picked up this. It's still in the hoop because I feel like that helps just display it better. This is Gaia by Quarter Creations as part of the Earth Day bundle. I didn't do too much. I just kind of finished up some stuff here. I had brought it along for a car stitch sort of project and at my in-laws stitch project because I'm just using a variegated thread, so it doesn't take too much to like go back and forth. So I just kind of finished in some stuff over here. I don't get to do too much stitching on it, but it was nice to have. And what else did I? Oh, I posted about this one on Instagram. I was excited about it. This is the Natural World Stitch Along by Pixel Pixie Cross Stitch. Yeah, so all that is done. I'm just going to fold over because I've shown off the top part before. So I finished off this section here, which was the March, other than a French knot on this I and the L. So all that's left is like 2 letters for the snail. But I was struggling with it because I struggled with French knots, so I just moved on and started working on the other section. So I have to do some more bird prints and work on the quote. So I was actually flying along on this and feeling pretty proud of myself. The question I have for people is, because I'm struggling with this, and then maybe the hive mind will know. So I found a lot of tutorials to do French knots on Ada, right? Like, and things like that. My brain, and I mean, I can't do a French knot on Ada, so it's not like that's helping me anyways, but there's tutorials, there's a lot of resources. I will figure it out eventually. I have a mental block. It will plummet through and I will figure it out. And I can also see tutorials on how to do it on things like like linen, right? Like when you're embroidering French knot, which is like, not the gridded, like the grid like Ada, right? How do I do it on even weave? Because I have like, I think that's what my brain's kind of struggling with now too, is like, because I'm not stitching over in like a little 4 square. My square is 9, right? So like the coming up and down, like I may be overthinking how to do this. It's just I'm not seeing like tutorials, or I wasn't finding one how to do French knots on even weave, and so I was then trying to I was overthinking it. I know I'm overthinking it, but if someone wants to reach out to me on Instagram or here and just walk me through it like I'm 5, or 4, because I just would really like to learn how to do French knots. And I mean, I've kind of gotten a couple good ones. I had to get some good tips in my other videos on maybe just pulling it too tight, and so that did slightly improve them. They're still not quite right, but they're woogity rather than falling through, right? But now I'm just kind of struggling with the even weave placement of them. So there's that. I've made progress on that, which I was happy about. Not as much as I wanted, but still. And the last, second last one I've worked on. This was the Treasure Island Stitch Along by Al Forrest Embroidery. It's a free one. I am massively behind. So the house just needs to be filled in. And then this is the whole banner that goes across. Mostly I just haven't been able to make it play nice with Pattern Keeper, so I'm having to like actually use patterns again. And my brain has already adjusted so fast using that it's slowing me down on the counting and figuring it out, and I'm making more mistakes. So not the biggest fan. And also, I'll show a picture of what it looks like. Cause So this is what it's up to. It's focus. Oh dear. That might not work. Oh, there we go. There we go. I made it work. Right. So, and all the characters. Maybe I'll zoom in. You don't need all that. But there's like, I don't want to stitch the sky bit up there. I don't like how the sky looks, but I might have to go back and do that border. But then all the, like, a lot of the motifs have this, like, sort of chain sort of finish on it. And, like, I'm not loving it, but I might need to do it for, like, how it looks in the final vision. I don't know. I'm just trucking along with it as they are, and we'll see how it looks like when it's done. I'm planning to maybe just focus on that for like a week and knock it out, but got so many other things to do. I don't like making decisions. And the last thing I worked on, and this is the funny one for me, this is the Greenhouse of Oddities, the Greenhouse of Oddities Stitch Along by Lola Pro. So I worked on some more stuff over here. I finally added some of the lights up here, and I started to work on this little bench and pole because I was so behind. I was like, I can just do this whole section top down rather than, 5th planting, 6th planting. I'm just going to work top down. I had such a brilliant plan for this. So just like 2 days ago, the little sign, your Choose Your Own Scientist got released over here. And so I had this, the corpse flower, and all of this left to do. And I forget exactly how many stitches it was. I calculated it out, and like if I did 400 stitches, because there was the week off, and so I had like 2 weeks. And so I had calculated out, and if I did 400 stitches a day on this, I would catch up. Like I'd be fully caught up. And that was overly realistic, which I knew at the very start because I tend to do 200 to 300 stitches a day just because kids and life and everything else going on. But I was rationalizing to myself. I was like, oh, well, some of those stitches I need to do are all like up over here, so I can just deal with those later. I don't need to do all these like little shadow light bits over here, and like my dirt's not all the way done. So I was like, okay, so like up here, things like that. I was like, okay, like it says 400 a day, but really I'm probably still fine as long as I do my best, right? And so that was my plan. And like I mentioned at the beginning, I then didn't stitch for an entire week. So that is that. I think I'm accepting that I will not be any semblance of staying caught up. I do want to still, so I won't be finishing it with everyone else on, the last release is I think August 18th. And I knew I wasn't going to finish there, but I kind of figured, I'll probably be able to finish by mid-September, right? I'm going to adjust that to it'll be done by the end of the year, and because, no. Once the excitement of the weekly release falls up, I'm not going to have as much motivation to like try and stitch on it. So I'm going to have to work on that and just let's take its time and enjoy the garden. So those are what I managed to work on. I did also have 2 other projects I want to show. They're not anything new done on them, but they are relevant to what I'm talking about. So Erin from 3 Cats Stitching has started a Restartathon, and she posted about it, really cute, and I was like, that is a great idea. I don't have any projects I want to restart, but I'm going to share that to my Instagram, and you'll support that. That is a good idea. So I did, right? And then, let me just make sure I have their name entirely right, because that is, of course, I have to get out of that. And like I think right around the same time, Alice of Rat Spit Stitch on Instagram posted this amazing finish. Like, please actually go to her Instagram page and look at that. Like, holy cow! And there's a little quote in there. There's a crack in everything, and so this is like the heart sampler, and and it's like bad vibes only. Yeah, bad vibes only. And yeah, like look at that amazing. Like she's changed the color. She charted a quote in. Like it is stunning. Like I gasped. I was like, holy shit. Wow. And so then I was like, okay, I do have something to restart. Like, wow. Like stunning, incredible. Wow. Like I reached out to her too and I was like, hey, like, do you mind if I share this picture? Because like, I mean, I'm saying good things only. I didn't think, but like, wow. Like, I can't get over how gorgeous that is. Like, and like, I started this, well, I bought the pattern on Trying to Save Visibility. It took me a little bit to start. And kind of, it's an informal stitch along with Megan and Miriam. It's like the Big Bad Heart style. And, because it's a big piece, right? And so I got a big piece of pink Ida, and so this is my progress. This is actually like 500 stitches. And it's a lot. Like, that's a couple days of work for me. And I don't like it. I don't like what I did. And it's not like anything is wrong. Like, it's just to get a fat piece of fabric that large, I got something that was like a little stiff and crunchy, and I'm not enjoying working on it, and I'm not enjoying the shade of pink. So I'm seeing something like that too. I want to restart. It's going to take me a while. My plan is, I just thought on a fabric choice first. I'm thinking, because I've been like just kind of looking at things online, I'm thinking like the blush from Zweigart might be a good choice. That looks like it's going to be a very pale pink, like barely pink, so then it'll pull out the colors of the floss without being too similar, or something gray toned. I don't want anything too modeled or hand-dyed because I really want the floss and the images to be the centerpiece, because sometimes if you have like a really modeled piece of fabric, it takes away from it rather than adding, in my opinion. Because my second thing is I want to do with it, and I want to say it's mostly D from D's 20 Stitches I've seen doing this, is they're using a whole bunch of like variegated floss, like just kind of like their odds and ends from other projects, and using that for like different motifs and sections. And I think that would be a fantastic idea, and especially because like seeing that on that finished one, and I was like, okay, I kind of want to do that. I don't have a ton of over dyed or variegated or anything yet. I'm mostly just a DMC person, mostly because it's less than a year that I've really been cross stitching. So I think that'd be fun. Like, I don't want to go out and specially buy floss. I'm kind of hoping that when I'm at like Stitch North, I'll be able to pick up some and maybe be like, oh, hey, are you done with that project? And you have like this much thread left. Can I have it? You know, just be like a little floss magpie. Or trade. You know, I would willingly trade too. Like, because I know like that's one of my issues that I'm kind of scared about using like over dyes and things. Like, what happens when you have like this little bit left, right? And I think this is, to me, like a really fun option, right? And so this will take then a much longer to complete than I originally anticipated. But I think the overall effect will be a lot more visually stunning, and an excuse to start playing around with over dyes and yeah, finding out some more. So I've been poking around looking at them because I want to go really fun with it. So yeah, and I'll probably keep an eye out on like the D-stash groups and try and like scoop up some that way. And I think it'll be mostly reds and pinks, but I kind of want to do the heart in the center, maybe like a little bit more like blue and purple and like the tree. Yeah, I am really excited about that idea, and I just want to really credit where I got the inspiration from, so yeah, that's that. So that project's going to go into retirement, because I then figure out fabric and start accumulating little floss scripts and scraps and bobs. Yeah, but I'm happy about that progress. I think that is where it needs to go. The other thing I want to just kind of bring up, I haven't worked on this project recently, and it is Death to the Dictator by Crafty Yams, who is also a floss tuber. And there's what I had. So that's just my piece, right? You've seen it before. You'll see it again. So I was hanging out, and I got an email saying I got a refund for my Death to the Dictator donation. I was so confused. I was like, why am I getting, like, I made a charitable donation. Like, why am I getting a refund? Like, what? So I reached out to her, and then she's like, yeah, I'm like, some stuff's happening with Gumroad. I'll send you an email. I'm going to paraphrase it because it was a lot, because apparently she's been going back and forth with Gumroad because who they handle finances with didn't want to release the funds to her because it was going to Iran, like charitable organizations in Iran to that are set up to support the people that are, you know, protesting and fighting the you know, fighting the situation in Iran, right? But apparently they just don't want to do any cash to Iran whatsoever, right? And so, and then apparently they were going back and forth for months, and that is what happened. Is they just ended up refunding the money to everyone, which is incredibly shitty. It's shitty, right? Like, she spent so much time designing this amazing pattern, you know, promoting it, and like blood, sweat, and tears, and like education, and like it's a cause near and dear to her heart, and could not work with the bureaucracies basically to understand that. And I think there's something like there's this, God, and she's not even in America or anything like that. So it's like some of the reasoning was just like really like. Ugh. So what I did instead is I took my refund and I am donating it. I have to. I was sick, so I have to go through and look at some organizations because I want to make sure I'm sending it to a good organization, a good charity, right? Like that's one of the things you always have to be careful with charities and charitable donations, like checking how much of their money actually goes towards the cause that you want to support and how much is just going to like their overhead and things like that. Like that's a very tough one, and I have to just, and also I just don't want to go through this whole process again. Like that's not her fault or anything like that, but when I donate money, I want my money to be going. Like I don't need a refund. It's not her fault. I know other people might be wondering about that. And I also want to say, like, hey, if you were thinking about this pattern or things like that, like, now's the time. Make a donation. Like, it's been months. It's still ongoing. So, you can still start now. You can still start supporting. Right, so those are my cross-stitch projects. And now, I kind of like, so it is August 7th, and I had planned a couple starts that I just didn't get to because I was sick. Some of them are kind of related to some other stuff, like I'm going to talk about after, so I'm just going to talk to the two that aren't. This is Sailor Summer, and it's hosted by Sleeping Luna Designs and a Diamond Arts account, so that's why the name's escaping me. I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. It has a huge part of my childhood, and just a lot of my creative thoughts as a kid and young adults all stem in there, so I was super excited to see this. And then Bog Dragons released an absolutely stunning Sailor Moon landscape. It's a bit chonky, so I'm not going to get too far into it. It's going to be a long-term project, again, because it's like 15,000 stitches, but, like, I share this on my stories, and, like, because it's like the skyline, like, sorry, maybe if I go this way. Oop. Now you can see all my photos I was trying to show you. Oh, dear. Okay, wait. I am terrible at this. I thought this was going to be easy. Ooh, there we go. And it's beautiful. It's simple, but it's stunning. And I'm excited for it, other than the fact that the sky is going to be a lot of just, like, full coverage for looking in the sky. So I had planned to start that August 1st, was sick. I'm going to get started, make an honest effort to get on it. And that's a start that's going to be planned. You'll see stripes of greeny blue the next time. The other one I'm starting, and this is by Nara X Stitch. Erin from 3 Cat Stitching, she shared this on her stories, and it was on sale, and it was an immediate buy. This is Olivia. Olivia wears a dress in a dandelion field. Olivia is my friend. Olivia is going to be here very soon. I love owls. I love whimsical, and it was on sale, so I have to start it. But there's no reason not to. So yeah, those are the two planned starts that are not related to any other bits and bobs that I've done. So again, if you followed me on Instagram, you know that I had some adventures and misadventures in dyeing my own fabric 2 weeks ago. And it was really a lot of fun. The only thing I'm not liking is a lot of my fabric is kind of fraying a little bit. I don't want to serge or anything to fix that, so we're going to have fun. So this is my first bit. This is just like, this is small, but it's an 18 count, so it's the right size. Sorry, I feel like the light's blocking. Well, that's washing it out. Okay, this is being washed out. It's neon green and yellowy. Oop, did that? What if, sorry, 1 second. What if I did this? Ooh, there we go. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Yeah, so this is a nice little bit of green. This was really fun to dye. It is going to be for Stitch Sprout's Haunted House that was in the most recent edition of Just Cross Stitch as a haunted house. I loved it. It was fantastic. Actually, me and Darren have just... Erin, okay, terrible influence on me, Erin. Terrible. She posted, well, I don't know who posted it first. We were both like posting like reveals and flip throughs of the Halloween issue, what we wanted to do, and this is this one. And both of us being in Canada, it's sometimes a little hard to find fun fabric. So we both dyed our own, and we're chit-chatting back and forth on that. And so yeah, I'm excited to start. A little Halloween. This one, sorry, I should have got these a little bit more orders. And so, like I said, I had a little fun with it. These two both came out darker than I wanted. I don't know if, yeah. So they both kind of started as the same base, and then I was trying to add accents. Like this one's supposed to have purple and green, and this one's supposed to, I mean, this one looks perfect. It looks old and gross, and moldy or camouflagey, so it's actually perfect for what I wanted. I just wanted it to be more subtle. Like, this is more like dark to medium tones, and I wanted them both to be like light toned. Like, it works. Like, it's still within the range of what I wanted. It's just not my vision, which is why these are where I started with, because I figured I had a more flexible vision for them, so I could make them work. And so those are going to be 4 pieces from the Earth Day bundle. The Noctiflora's Fungi Food Mushroom, and the Reclamation Skull by Stitch Grit. And then I got this beautiful, fun, bright yellow piece. This is going to be for the Pansy, the Let Us Shine style. I know Miriam's already done hers, and she does a color completion time-lapse video, which is fantastic, and you should go to her Instagram and check it out, because it's so fun to watch a color completion. And I did this one I'm really proud of too. This is like this blue cloudy sky one. I did this for the Meadow Badger by Mama Witch X Stitch. Yeah, it's wrinkly because I didn't iron them at my parents' house because I wanted to finish dyeing everything before I, set up the iron. And I'm not done ironing because I'm not done dyeing because I had a misadventure. But that's that. Yeah. Yeah, so this one turned out fantastic. Like, this one I'm thrilled with. I want maybe slightly more gray toned, but it's perfect. And this one, this is why I have to go back, well, this is one of the reasons I have to go back to the dyeing board. So I had done this piece here, this dark purple. This was supposed to be light pink with, little purple modeling bits on top, right? And it just turned out dark. And it still works for the piece I'm going to do on it. I just find it hilarious, so, because I have this fantastic piece. Look. This one turned out gorgeous. This is so dreamy, and I have no idea what to do on it. So this piece here was supposed to be for my the Wizard's Stitch Along, hosted by Sewing Starfish. So this beautiful pastel piece, I dyed with wine, eggplant, navy blue, indigo, and royal blue. Because I was trying to go for this really jewel tone tie dye was my idea. And then the colors were dark. I was testing them, and they were dark and rich. And I got pastel. And then this one, which I did with petal pink and violet. This one with a little bit more red, was kind of what I was going. Dyeing. I think it just kind of goes to show that you have to go in very flexible. So that just means I have to go back in and dye another piece for the Wizard Adventure Stitch Along. I just haven't been able to. Yeah, so I have to dye for that, and I have to dye for some more pieces, which I'm kind of going to bring up in future plans, because they are related. Everything's related. And then I kind of want to talk about haul. I'm going to show the boring haul first. Yeah, I got chicken nuggets. No. I don't always show, my thrifting finds, because it's usually just bits and bobs of, scrap Ada and things like that, or, some tubes. So it's not interesting to look, I found 4 tubes of 14 count antique ivory, right? And this one had a lot of that in hoops. It was a lady who is getting out of the cross-stitching game, health issues, unfortunately. And it turns out her son was an old coworker of mine. So when I went to pick it up, it was also she was selling a Facebook Marketplace, and she also had a garage sale. And so I got there, and I was going, and I didn't recognize him at first. It was so embarrassing, because I was like, he was my coworker a decade ago, and apparently I'm the same. I didn't recognize him. Anyways, yeah. So I didn't even get a bargain from that. But anyways, in this box, she'd thrown all these in. These are all these flosses, right? And they're all very interesting to me. Because these are Galaxy brand. And I haven't been able to find much. I haven't really looked too hard. So it's Galaxy brand. They were 21 cents a skein, which, hello, fantastic. They're double stranded, mercerized, 8.7 yards. There's an equivalent DMC code on it. So they don't feel like, awful. It's just when you search Galaxy floss, you tend to get some like unique hand-dyed creations rather than like info on where these were made and things like that. Yeah, so like they seem to be like they were made in New Jersey. Oh no, they're made in Thailand and sold in New Jersey, right? So, and like there's enough here somehow. Like I don't know about subbing them into projects, because I don't know about that. But like if I wanted to do like a really fun like sampler, like there's enough here for samplers. Especially this blue is pretty. This purple, like I could have some fun with this. I just don't know exactly where I would be doing it. So yeah, if anyone knows anything about Galaxy Floss, please let me know, because I am intrigued and very curious. Does this one even have a DMC code? Yeah. So yeah, no, there's some pretty ones. Just don't know what I'm going to be doing with them. I just wanted to show that off because that was interesting to me. I just didn't know about that brand. And then my local embroidery, like one of my local LNSs was having a sale for her anniversary. So I actually have two separate orders because I got my anniversary order and the order I put in just before she had her anniversary. So way back in Stitch North, Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery released a Lord of the Rings inspired piece. And I immediately wanted to do it. I was talking to Anna from Books and Stitches of it, and like she's already started hers because she figured out her colors and things right away. 'Cause I originally wanted to do it on a dark green with like silver floss, because that to me was very elven. And I could not find a dark green fabric I liked. And then I found one I liked, but the backlog of it was like being dyed was just way too long, and I'm impatient. So I ended up picking from Picture This Plus Sterling. Right, so it's a very nice, it's going to be a big project, right? So it's a very nice, like, light gray blue, right? And then, to go with that, my floss, I got Threadworks. I think it's called Mythical, this color is. I'd have to double check. I'll update that. But here. I think the sun's kind of washing it out. I'll have to take a nice floss toss photo. I don't know. And it's like, it goes from like a dark green to the light green. I might lose some of the light green in this, just in terms of contrast, but it's fantastic. I got 100 yards of it, and I know there's a stitch along starting for it on October 24th, I think. I can't remember the exact stitch along name. I'm going to be starting beforehand because, sorry, I dropped my floss. I am a slow stitcher, and I'll join in on them when they start that day, but it's not like I'll have tons done by the time they start, so I can join in. And the other one I got from them, that same order, is this. This is Bradley's Balloons by Threadworks, and it's a beautiful, beautiful rainbow floss. And so I got this one specifically, and it just took forever to get here, which is kind of life. I wanted to do the 9-banded sampler by Craft Experimentalist as my Pride start. It's August, that's okay. Pride in Calgary is in September, so I'm totally on track for Pride. Just Calgary's Pride. And this is not the call for floss. It's just there's a border and it changes, like it's 4 stitches of each color and changes. And I'm kind of lazy, and I thought that might be kind of a fun way to just whip through a border and feel better about it. I'm not 100% positive I will. I'm going to try it out and see with the other colors. Because then I also start thinking like, like maybe I should just do an overdye for each and every of the colors. And then I went back and forth and then I switched my mind. I think I'm just going to stick to the DMC conversions provided. And then I got a little bit more from there because there was a sale. Some of these I have plans for, some of these I don't. I got Chime, which is a beautiful soft yellow. I'm going to probably use this for the Anne and Green Gables stitch along that's starting next week. Love me Anna Green Gables, love a stitch along. So I'm thinking that will be my start for it. I just holding off just in case. I got, ooh, yes, this is the one. I got French Lilac. This is going to be for my mom's Christmas gift. I want to do one of those tarot card spreads for her, and that's what I'm going to use some of the Sulky Varied for, so that way she'll have like a little tarot mat, and I thought she'd like that. She's very into tarot, and I think it's cute, and we like to do handmade gifts, and it's a beautiful purple. I got Barnwood, which I really like, and I got this because on the Oracle Stitch Along group, there's a little free Autumn Vibe Ghost Stitch Along, and I thought this would be really nice with, like, you know, dark without being black, and I have ideas. And it turned out to be somewhat fortuitous because I might be using this for another project. And then because it was, like I said, everything was on sale, so I ended up getting like a little cut of Bramble as well, which is looking to be like a very nice neutral. I'm a big fan of that. So I didn't have, and the stitch along that I was talking about on this one, it's going to use nowhere near all of this, like probably just like the top section, like this much. It's tiny. Like, I think it's like 6 figures and they're like 2 inches. So I was like, yay, I'll have extra fabric. And it's like my mind knew that I was going to need extra dark fabric. So, if you haven't noticed or heard, Meg from the Witchy Stitcher is battling a very rare form of blood cancer. And, wow, like cancer. Like, I don't want to go too much into personal battles and issues with cancer because, you know, but obviously I think everyone knows someone who's been affected by cancer, and the Witchy Stitcher is one of the reasons I started cross-stitching because I saw some of her patterns, and I was like, ooh. So I watched the half end of Cryptid Stitch Along before and all the Cryptid and Supernatural, and like I didn't stitch them. They're not for me. But I really enjoyed just like watching and waiting for the drops. And so there's that. And so on August, so there's a hashtag started. It's stitchyforwitchy, and it's going to be on August 12th. Like much like we did for Stitch for Sage, where we had the day that we all just bombarded her shop and started and shared. It's going to be stitchyforwitchy on August 12th. And I haven't quite decided which ones I want to do. I was looking at her patterns, so I was planning on starting like mid-September, October for some like Halloween ones, right? Because to me she is Halloween, autumn, like those vibes. So I was already looking at those. I just hadn't planned on starting them, so I don't have fabric or anything. Like I have some black fabric. Like I always have black, but I feel like some of her stuff pops on other colors better. So I'm very happy I have those because I have to figure out fast what I'm starting on that day. Yeah. And so Stitchyforwitchy, Kaylee Tent Stitch on Instagram is hosting another giveaway, so go check out her Instagram. We're just trying to show love and support for Meg, and again, like, take care of your health. Like, I guess that is it's precious. You never know when something like that's going to hit you. Yeah. And on Friday, I guess, wow, I totally forgot to mention this. I started posting on Fridays, something I call Feature Fridays, where I just kind of do a quick reel of photos of designers I like their work that I like. Because I mentioned it the first one, I don't want to do a kit parade. Most of my stuff is PDFs, and I don't have it all kitted up. Because if I have it kitted up, I find it very hard not to start. So I don't think that'd be very interesting to watch. It's like flip. And also, as you saw, I just tried to show things on my phone. No, not for me. So I've been doing the reels because it helps me refamiliarize with what I want to do and what I have and things like that. And so I've done 2 so far, and I really enjoy doing them. And I plan to do one for Witchy Stitcher in October, but I'm bumping that up, so that's what I'm going to be posting on Friday. So, if you don't know what designs, she has a million, but, maybe you'll find some inspiration there. Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, big things there. Stitchyforwitchy, August 12th, and fuck cancer. And so that is that for the cross-stitch talk and cross-stitch adventures. I will be dyeing some more fabric sometime in the next couple days and catching up on things and working on other stuff. I did read a couple books. I was sick and I just didn't read as much as I wanted to. None of them I'm really amazed or thrilled by, but some of them I did enjoy, so we'll briefly talk about that, but if you're not interested in that, thanks for tuning in. So for books, I read Magic Tides by Ilona Andrews. Ilona Andrews is like a husband and wife team, and they read a fair bit. And I am just a big, big fan of their Kate Daniels series. It's a really fun urban fantasy, and lots of short stories, and like, a little spicy, but like just fun, really good fun. And so they wrote the first 10 book series and like a bunch of little side stories and novellas. And then they're starting to write 2 spin-off series, one about characters that were in the books, which haven't quite caught my interest, right? But then I just found out they're writing some more books that are actually with the main characters, And so that was Magic Tides, which is like they're novellas, like they're not full-on novels, and it's just kind of like here's what they were doing between, when the series ended and when we've picked up with these series. So it was fun. Like, it's nice to visit a urban fantasy world and just catch up with the characters, and it kind of made me want to reread the original 10 books. And if I'm rereading Ilona Andrews, I have to go reread Patricia Briggs. Like, they're linked to me for some reason, which not a bad thing to reread. It's nice to kind of immerse yourself in a familiar, comfortable world that's fun. And I feel like I should double check, so I feel like Patricia Briggs will probably be having a book coming out soon. So I read that. I read If Only You, which is the second last book in the Bergman Brothers series by Chloe Leese. Yeah. She is, okay, so it has a trope of fantasy books where I don't like, where each book, not fantasy books, romance books, where it's like, here's the 2 characters, and then the next book follows, like, 2 characters that you met in the previous book. Yeah, I don't know, I just don't like that with fantasy books. Like, it's like this, everyone must be matched off, and they just kind of keep going, and then, from primary character, secondary character, tertiary, and you're just like I'm over it. And this one has the 7 siblings. Wait, 7 siblings? So each book follows one of the siblings as they find their romantic partner, and sometimes it's other characters from previous books that they get paired off with. And so I'm like, I don't usually love that because it gets repetitive. But she's managed to keep it fairly fresh, and especially because it's like the 6th one and I'm still enjoying it. The characters all have various forms of like disabilities or neurodivergencies or such, because she's very much an own voices writer. And I don't have all of those, so I can't speak to how accurate all of them are, but I appreciate that. It's very interesting, and there's a whole spectrum of sexuality and divergencies and such, and so they're a good comfort read for me. I enjoy those. And then I finished Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, which took me a while to get to. I really liked Gideon the Ninth, and then I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am having a hard time following, and that's on me. It's a very layered world and story and plot, and unreliable narrators, and they don't know what's going on, but it's like the plot is here and they're going to converge, but you're just like, wait, what is happening? And Nona was very much that for me, without spoilers, even though it's an older book, like published in like last year. So it's one of those books that you have to read. I feel like you have to read like 4 times and then reread the series again, and then be like, okay, the puzzle pieces are finally coming together. And then you have to get into the forums and like pull it apart and like conference style event, because like I almost want to compare it to Paradise Lost in a way, and not in like it's that level of writing. It's just like John Milton layered so much into each of his sentences of Paradise Lost, right? Like, he was a very educated, well-read man, and so he was able, so he wrote a sentence and it would have like 5 references to like 6 books, right? And some cultural gossip and like, pop culture of the time, right? And so like, to dissect it, you have to be so steeped in that what's going on around you. And then there's also the plot, and that's very similar to what I feel like that's going on with Tamsin Muir. Like, except it's the internet subculture that she is pulling from. And so if you didn't catch you weren't there in that Tumblr section, and you were like, wait, what? The scene made no sense to me. Like, I was actually on the Reddit forum today, and somebody's like asked a question like, what was that word that he said, mumbled under his breath? And I was like, I don't even remember that being relevant. And then it turns out the word he said was kumbaya, and then that has a whole reference, like layers to the plot, like specifically when you go, like, and right, like it's kumbaya, right? But it's so multi-textual, textural to the world. And so I enjoy that, and I love Gideon, and I need to find time to reread these books with a fine-tooth comb and not distracted, because they're fantastic. I really recommend them, but you have to have a certain patience and tolerance for not being spoon-fed the answers and maybe having obscure and confused narrators, which I find sometimes a lot of readers maybe don't have the time or appreciation for. And also a little bit of okayness with necromancy and fighting and a little bit of gore. Not tons, it's not gross, but like, there are necromancers, so there are bones and bodies and dead things. Yeah, so that is what I've read. My plan is to be back in about 2-3 weeks, and my plan is to have stitched a lot of things and have new starts. And I also kind of want to just say thank you again for watching. I really appreciate everyone that's commented and, you know, followed me and sent a message. It really just makes my day to get those little notifications. It is so exciting. Like, even if they just think, hi, I liked your video, I'm like, oh my god, you like me? I like you! So, yeah. So, thanks for watching. Enjoy your summer, and apply sunscreen. Apply sunscreen. Okay, bye!